Hello, all of you delightful beings out there, and welcome to the stream. I am Raw Zim, and this is DevTales, where we're going to be working on our SCAR system, or Stories and Creatures in Alternate Realities. This is a tabletop RPG system for playing as Pokemon, Digimon, Monsters from Monster Hunter, and much, much more. We're about to start a Fallout campaign. We've got a generic generic fantasy Kobold campaign, and Star Wars, and all sorts of stuff. So it's a very flexible system. Go check it out on itch.io as well as on our Discord. It's free. But for now, let's go ahead and get this brought up here. And yes, in the upper right we have Placid Plastic Duck Simulator because quack. And we're using the TF Talkie, so transform me to your heart's content, everybody.
Or leave him as a dragon because dragon is always the correct answer.
Because dragon. But there are other dragons you could be TF'd into too. None as good as this one. Or the best TF, human TF.
Nope, somebody ruined it.
I'm gonna blame Oki.
Oki likes to snap. Alright, so yeah, we do have quite a bit to cover today. It's been a while. I think we will skip the suggestions for this week. Vari did bring up something to me that I want to go over real quick. As soon as I find it, because Brain decided to remind me right as I, was doing the intro and everything, and yeah. Let's see here. So, Vari had some questions about doublespeak, one of the primeval magic feats.
Yeah, there was one word that was technically kind of wrong.
Yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and get that straightened out real quick. So right now, it says, by carefully repeating a single word within a spell, you can amplify its effect. You may use a single word twice in a spell, paying double its mode cost for the second use. This cannot be used on burn spells. So, are we going to have a... Because as I understand it right now, you can cast a spell and only burn one word.
Yeah. The last word in there should say burn words instead of burn spells.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we wanted to put that as a category, or, say that, the entire spell is considered a burn spell or not, but...
No, it should have been burn word.
Yeah, it should have been burn word. That's just us messing up wording on it.
Alright.
So, burn versus expend spells is not an actual category, technically speaking. Instead, burning a word will do things like double its effective spell level or whatever for purposes of calculations and other such things, but besides that, the difference between a spell having burn and a spell only having expend is just in the cost.
Yep.
But it will do things like double the spell level of that burnt word. And so you could get some egregiously high spell level words by burning a really cheap spell and making it really hard to fuck with it, but at that point you're still burning, so go off, I guess.
Alright, so yeah, a very simple, you cannot use it on a burned word.
Yep. I do have some other magic stuff to go over if we want to do that while we're already here.
Sure.
Which is, we had alteration stuff kind of on a back burner for a while, but I went and made a bunch of stuff for alteration. I kept it all in the do not use whip yellow highlighting that we use.
Did you put it in the main dock?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all in the whip do not use stuff. And that would be a lot easier. I also put one above it because I made it for alteration, then I realized, hey, wait, enchanting exists. What the fuck am I doing? Or, not enchanting, enhancement. But, you know, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Alright, well, go
I guess we
ahead
could
and...
name it enchant. Actually. I came up with a weird name for it, I don't have to.
Well, I mean, we have an enchantment school, so I think that's a little too close.
That is true. Alright, I'm gonna go back to calling it suffuse. But yeah, so... I guess starting with the one that I put into enhancement, it could either go in this or an enchantment. There's a bit of overlap. But I put it right here just because it's like right next to the rest of the stuff, which is just a spell that would make an object up to X tier count as magical for the next little while, which would basically change its... Go ahead.
I was going to say, based on what I'm reading, I think it belongs in enchant already.
Probably. I just kind of put it there to stick it into wherever, honestly.
Well, you actually put it under enchantment anyways.
I think I put it under enhancement, actually.
Nope, this is
Not
enchantment.
Oh, okay, cool. I put it under the right section.
Whoops, I accidentally put it
like
the right place.
They're like right next to each other anyway, so I was just more like, I'm gonna put this right next to the alterations stuff so we can look over it easier. But yeah, so basically the expend version object up to X tier counts as magical for the next X minutes, which doesn't increase offensive stats, but basically means that it would be increased defenses. Note that this doesn't say equipment, it just says object, so you could use this shit on like a door or something and make a door count as magical.
Oh, the party trap, got it. How to end your game for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, I know, right?
It also makes it very difficult to break.
Yeah, which is the point. Like, you could, technically speaking, use this on a mundane set of armor. You could use this on a door. You could use this on a rickety fucking bridge to make it less likely to break. You know, you got options. The burn version it changes minutes to hours and says if it's cast during the creation of an object, the effect counts as having a permanence rating of X innately. So it'll just stay magic.
I personally think we should go ahead and leave it where it's where you still need to have the permanence spell or word.
Okay, that's fine. I mostly threw that in there because I couldn't think of shit else to do to make the burn version be better.
I mean, we could give it the generic +1 die to accuracy and accuracy and damage with the burn. Probably per tier.
Give me a moment, my cat is pressing his forehead to my face.
Eat him.
Cute.
No, he wants kisses.
Yeah, give him toothy kisses.
Okay. Nope, that doesn't bother him. Like, I bite him often.
You're speaking his love language.
Like most of my pets, they don't mind being eaten.
Because the thing is I'm thinking of is that this should also be usable and good for use on things that are not just weapons and armor.
That is fair. Technically, the +1 to accuracy and damage wouldn't help on armor either.
It could just be a flat boost to item HP.
Well, that's already happening with it counting as magical.
Yeah, it already gets a durability and negation boost.
Or a higher boost, I should say.
Yeah,
We could put in that it's, you know, we codify what it does for weapons and armor, and then we can put in that what it also gives to objects outside of those are up to the ST. Because we can't really codify it if they, you know, do it on a door or a glass or something else. So that it's something, because there's, you know, countless objects there. So
instead of
just give it an extra effect by up to the ST.
What does it do? No one knows until it's made up on the spot.
I'm gonna write it out better later, but you know.
That's fine. I figure for
define what the
armor.
cost. Good.
I figure for the armor, it'll give +1. I think +1 negation of both varieties. Well, no, that would be really powerful. Maybe they can choose where to put the negation. So, like, you know, they enchanted tier 3 armor with the tier 3 version of this. They get 3 points of negation to distribute between ethereal or physical as they please. That's what I'm thinking. A little bit more complicated, but also, you know, 3 negation on both is a lot. Oh, I wasn't thinking guaranteed damage. I was thinking +1 die.
Well, if it's giving negation, it should give the opposite of negation for the weapon effect.
Fair. Fair.
Which actually, you know, if we do that, we can then take off this thing, because then if used on objects, you could still use it to pump up its negation according to what you want.
No, I'd rather leave the option for creativity here.
That's fine.
Because, like, you know, you do it on a mug, and you may not necessarily care about it having more negation and whatnot.
But if you use it on a mug and you choose damage, it'll be better for mugging.
If you did not see that one coming.
I did.
Cal, I can hear you trying not to giggle.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, with this in mind, I think for the burn version, it's X times 6 motes.
Some 6, okay.
So, what's inside the mug, though? Root beer?
The tears of my enemies. After I hit them over the head with a mug that deals +6 damage.
Somehow I knew you were gonna say that.
For those of you who know, you know.
Alright, so yeah, that looks good. On to alteration then.
Yep. So I kind of had a hard time originally trying to figure out where the hell alteration should exist when enhancement and enchantment already exist and stuff like that. So I kind of took it in an interesting direction, which has some overlap, but that's also because the three schools are similar, but like each have their own unique little twist on things and then side grade stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
So first two are basically the same thing, but just reversed, kind of. Refine. Decently cheap. Target object has negations of a material X divided by 2 tiers higher for the next X turns. Can concentrate. And the burn version has negations and durability of a magical material X divided by 2 tiers higher. So if it's not already magic, it'll count as magic, but only if you burn. Also, well, technically, it doesn't actually count as magic. It'll just have the stats as if it were. So if it being magical or not matters, it doesn't count as magical. It just has... It's as durable as something that is.
Might want to put in that this does not make it magical. I also might put in here that the burn version could be used for some more creative uses that you can discuss with your ST, such as, taking a lump of ore and refining it into the purified metal and things like that. It probably won't need to be
Maybe I have some
permanence
stuff
or such,
later that might address that desire, though.
That's fair. It just feels like a good place to... a good little extra flavor to give to it.
Yeah. To be fair, being able to spice up its negations and durability is already good. It doesn't help any offensive stats, but, being able to make it so that way your shield holds up a bit longer or whatever, what have you, is always going to be good. And basically it lets you basically go, hey, look, I have a tier 4 thing. Actually, it's tier 5. Get fucked. Which matters for things like, for instance, if you use it on like a medium weapon, it would count. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't actually upcharge it, but it has the negations and durability of something that's like way higher, so it'd be a lot harder to break. So you can put it on armor, weapon, shields. I guess you could still also put this on doors, but Degrade just does the opposite, and if it counts as magic, it turns it into no. If it is a magical material, it'll have the stats of a mundane material instead. It will not make it count as mundane. It just works in the opposite. It's not the most interesting, but I think it works.
Yeah, that
There's
sounds
still some
good.
overlap, but I figured you could do some unique things with it, but it doesn't do too much on its own. Considering that if you want it to be extra useful, you have to like cast it at a much higher tier. So I think X times 2 motes is pretty decent for it.
Yeah, I think it's good.
All right. On to alter affinity then. Normally, things work in the direction of objects first and then creatures. This one is a bit unique because it works the opposite way. Where you're able to target creatures and then targeting anything is the upgrade. I could also see changing the time to turns instead of minutes, but basically it just makes a target creature count as having an intrinsic affinity for whatever affinity you choose for this for the next however many minutes. You can use this offensively, defensively, utility-wise, you know.
You know, ADHD brain brought this up. I know people are still going to call them types, probably, but should we officially change the name of types to affinities? Because they're kind of referred to as affinities everywhere else anyways.
I mean, probably. The only weird thing would be saying that you have an affinity with an affinity. I have affinity with water affinity.
Fair. So, the altar, it says that it's gain. So, is this potentially going to... Why are the sirens going off?
A National Storm Week. They went off at 1:45 as well. They were gonna. So, first Wednesday of every month, the sirens normally go off at 1 p.m. But since it's National Storm Awareness Week, they're setting them off twice today. There is no storm.
Okay, so it is just test. Okay.
Yep.
Earlier, I assumed it was just them testing it, but then I just noticed they're going off again now, and I'm like,
Yep. The only day of the year they go off twice, and they blare them for way longer than normal.
Good to know. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need to run for the basement suddenly or something.
Anyway, the intent of this is that it works the same way as the type change move effect thing, where it gives it to you unless you already have two, in which case it overrides your secondary.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I think we should go ahead and specify that in this, but otherwise that's good. Definitely should be turns instead of minutes, and I think the burn should be minutes instead of hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise, that works.
I was going to agree with that. Also, these sirens are actually starting to irritate me. I hope they end soon.
Next one is split up into two different things, because one is a lot more powerful than the other and might need its cost raised. First is Sculpt Object, where basically you get to change some physical details about a mundane object up to a certain tier equal to the spell tier for the next X minutes can concentrate.
What do you define as physical details, though, specifically? Is this one of those leave it up to ST discretion things?
I think so.
A little bit of, yeah, it's a little bit of wiggle room on what it is.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be things like, you know, like the shape of something, or things of that nature. Where, like, you know, you could definitely use this for like some shenanigans where, you know, like a wall, and then you cast it on the wall and you open up a hole in it because, you know, you add a hole to it in terms of its physical details.
A hole is a shape.
A hole is a shape, you know, that sort of stuff. but it doesn't change, like, you can't use this to, for instance, look at your equipment and change what intrinsic traits it has.
Yep. So we need to. I think that would need to be noted specifically in there.
Yeah, that's why I put physical details. I was just gonna hash out with you guys what physical details actually counted as.
Yeah. We
But
got to be
basically
careful.
this was meant to be like non-mechanical changes, like more like narrative physical details about an object.
We have to be slightly careful of that because I have, as a druid, more than once used shape metal to steal precious metals,
Yeah.
which is in the vein and the spirit of it, but gotta be careful.
Mofo, mofo, pata, mofo, mofo. Pa, 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 pa,
I don't
pa.
know. But I would make sure to add in the specific that non-intrinsic traits or intrinsic traits cannot be changed or something like that, and physical details means it cannot change material types if that also is applicable.
Yeah,
Like those
it's
little
just-
nitty-gritty things should be added just that way. You don't have somebody walking up to stone and be like, gold now.
Yep, that is absolutely the point behind saying physical details. I just didn't feel like writing a legal brief for this in order to discuss the effect, because if we scrapped the effect, I didn't want to waste writing a fucking legal brief about
No,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly it works on.
I think making it where it is, give some suggestion or give some examples of what you can do with it, and then otherwise up to ST is good. And yeah, otherwise I agree with Era.
Yeah, I think it's fine as is. It's a very standard thing. I just want the legal brief so that way player arguments don't have to be a thing.
Yep, the next one is the version where it works on creatures, where I explicitly wrote a line at the end of it. For very obvious reasons, for if we want to add something like this.
Thank you. I sculpt creature and I remove their heart. Okay, well I guess they're a heartless creature that continues. Congratulations.
This does not deal damage even if you alter something necessary. If you remove their head, they are just going to headless horseman you now.
I like this. I think the same thing as the previous one, up to ST, but give some examples, like, add wings to somebody or something like that.
Yeah, which is the point about just saying, like, physical details. So you can't use this to, like, change someone's type or, like, that sort of stuff, but, you could change some things about them.
Also,
I know the kind of stuff that we mostly want to allow, which is why I just said physical details.
Yeah.
As a note for now, basically just to go, hey, you can't just decide that you are now X and Y types instead by using this because your type is technically a part of you. And it's just like, no, you can't do that.
Also, Ido, congrats on that 580 stream streak.
I don't know, it's somewhere.
Next one. This is one of my favorites, actually.
I know
some of it
people are
is
going to take that.
I know that some of this is kind of attached to a discussion we're about to have in a bit, but I can just remove that bit or rework it if it doesn't get approved. Manufacture. Expend version is X times 4 emotes, and you count as having tools for a crafting session for up to X divided by 2 items. So, if you're using this, even if you don't have the tools on hand to, make something, you could just magic up the necessary tools or use magic to manipulate the whatever, what have you. Be a useful little cantrip for any crafter to have.
Absolutely.
The burn version is where it gets really interesting, where it turns into X items and may swap or craft up to X times 5 intrinsic points worth of value as guaranteed successes during a crafting session. If you burn motes as a part of your crafting session, you get to have the benefit of literally magically manufacturing shit.
Works for me.
I think it's time for me to head on to bed.
Good
Y'all
night,
have
Merle.
a good rest of the dev session.
You are precious.
Let's change this.
Wah.
Pat pat tomorrow.
Wah.
Hey, Meryl.
Good night, Era.
Granted, it's not exactly conjuring the tools themselves. Like, you could use it for that as like the flavor, but you could also use it for, you know, pointing at the things and magicking them into place. You know, it doesn't really matter the exact method. It's more about the fact that you are changing and manufacturing something with the magic. Next up is, I just called it Flux. There's other names we could use for this, but I didn't want to just like rip off certain. This is very obvious what this is supposed to be, but you know, X times 5 motes. Target entity grows or shrinks by X divided by 2 size categories for the next X turns. Can concentrate. Burn version is X size categories for next X minutes. Can concentrate.
Just flat approval here.
Yeah, looks good.
Yep. I just called it Flux because, you know, it's technically a good term for something that can change in size or in quality and, like, you know, all that rapidly.
Yeah, but flux capacitor.
Yep. Next up on the interesting list of altering stuff, you know, is Reclassify, which is X times 3 motes. Target equipment changes classification to desired classification for the next X minutes. Which I guess we could knock that down to turns. We'll be doing that for most of this. With, you know, the classification being like physical or ethereal. Stuff like that.
Should probably specify that because I thought it was talking about, you know, light, medium, or heavy.
That's actually
That
the
sort of
next
thing.
one. But yeah, this also matters for stuff like armor, like getting able to reclassify it and change it to physical, ethereal, or balanced.
Yeah.
The burn version massively increases the timetable, and you're able to use the original classification as a free action up to X times during the spell. You know, in case you the original would have been more advantageous. But that's only on the burn version.
I would say next X hour or minutes, but otherwise
Yeah.
good.
Next is Adapt. I kind of chose Adapt because I think we named it like Adaptive something for the ability to... Oh wait, no, that was for the other one. Anyway, we could swap the names for this if you want, but Adapt was... Yeah, we should probably swap the names. Doo, doo, doo. But basically, this is just the weight class version. The burn version makes durability be recalculated at the end of the effect in the most beneficial way. Basically, what that means is if you change your armor from, like, medium to heavy, the damage might fall off if you know, you didn't take enough damage to have the damage still when it turns back into medium. Also should go to turns and minutes again to match the other. Because I couldn't really think about what else to do. Do you have any ideas for how to bump up the burn version of this?
I'm a little confused by what you've already got there.
This is worded in a confusing way, but that's also because I couldn't think of a better way to word it. But like, let's say your armor normally has like 10 durability, and if you after you use it, your durability would go to 20, and you take 5 damage while wearing the heavier armor. After the spell ends, you would with the expend version, you would keep that 5 damage on the armor, so you know your armor's durability would go from after it drops down would be at 5 out of 10. However, with the burn version, it would be recalculated at the most beneficial way, which would be, you know, it not being damaged, because the damage section was on the part that, you know, was made heavier. But if, let's say, you took 15 durability damage out of 20, then when your armor turns back, just to keep using armor as an example for this, it would be the equivalency of now you'd be at 5 out of 10 because you had 15 damage originally, and, you know, it just gets reset in the most beneficial way. So 10 of the durability damage was on the armor that armor parts that you you know, changed. I might be explaining this bad, but I hope you know what that means.
What were you gonna say, Era?
Any ideas I have are not simple enough and too complicated, so I think I'm fine with it as is, honestly.
I'd explain it better when doing it, but I, again, didn't want to do, like, legal briefs on what it is considered to do if it wasn't going to get approved.
I'm not sure I like that. And it wouldn't help, like it wouldn't really do much for... Honestly, I think this one we probably should just nix. Like, I could see its use, but the complications involved with making it work are feeling like it would be too much. And especially with, you know, now that you can use even a light weapon as a full action attack, it feels even less useful than it otherwise might be. Because, like, the only thing that I can think, the only benefit that I could think of for, you know, changing a light weapon or medium weapon to a heavy weapon is now it can't be parried. Except by another heavy. But that's, like, the only purpose that I can think of. And then...
there's proficiency abuse against enemies, so if you
Yeah, I was
have
about
an
to
enemy
say, you
that's
could use
using a
this.
heavy weapon and you know they don't have medium, you just downsize it.
True.
Same thing with armor. If you take somebody that's wearing light armor and drop this on them, they're suddenly medium armor. That hurts.
Yeah. Or if you downsize their armor, you know. Durability is recalculated in the most beneficial way to the caster. But, you know, it might just be something where we axe it for now and then figure out a better way to do it later.
I think we should axe it for now.
Yeah. I mean, part of the reason that I made, like, 9 or 10 spells for this was so that way we could axe a couple of them if needed, and we would still have enough for it to be a actual spell school now. So we can just... I'll just get rid of it entirely. I know what it does.
Yeah, like, adapt I could definitely understand. That one's got a good use. It's just that the other one, very complicated, and I'm not sure how practical it'd be. But anyways...
Yep, this one might need some rebalancing, but it is called Alchemize Material. Which, you know, since that's a tag, you're able to purchase it per material. Which also means, you know, you need to get approval for what material you're taking. So that way, you know, you cannot just do the lol lamau, I choose gold and start Midasing things. But, yeah. Basically, the way that works is, for the expend version, X times 2 motes, change X times 3 bulk amount of raw material at X tier or less to an equal amount of the purchased material at X tier or less for the next X minutes. Material is considered magical. So, you know, this would be a, like, imagine, like, a temporary, like, lead into gold. Just to give an example.
And we add the caveat of blocking from being permanent. Or might not be permanentable.
Yeah.
I mean, permanency spells can be broken. So if it gets permanence, you just have to break the permanency and it undoes it.
Or maybe make it notable that it's fake. Because I am slightly worried about the Midas nonsense.
Yeah.
That is why material is considered magical was put on there.
Understood.
So that way, if you hand over a bunch of, like, gold, that if they look at it and go, this is clearly magical, they aren't just going to accept it. Or if they do, they know that it's magicked. Because I doubt that anyone that, you know... I doubt whatever financial or currency system exists in a world with magic wouldn't at least check to see if the money getting handed off to them is actually magic or not. Or the gold getting handed off to them is magic.
Depends on how rare magic is. But it does require ST approval, so...
Yeah. You know, if you're worried about it, just don't let them fucking choose gold or whatever.
I would definitely say, just put in the caveat that it has clearly been, even to a mundane eye, that it has clearly been changed.
I'm just going to put and as clearly so, just for when I rewrite all this for wording. It's just listed. Because I'm going to word these in better ways if they need to be reworded. But yeah, that's the stuff that I ended up coming up with for alteration being an existing school of magic.
Yeah, it's all looking good to me. I think for Alchemize, the conversion, we should put in a thing where the conversion or creation rate may be lower depending on the material. per ST decision. Because, you know, turning gold or wood into gold, I think it might have, you might wind up with less gold than what you started with in wood.
E.g., can be lower or higher based on ST discretion.
Yeah, lower or higher. That works.
I was just gonna say amount created might differ, but yeah. I'm just gonna put it like that for now. For the rewriting purposes. Converted. This is just for my personal note version, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think we're good on that.
Now people can try and beg for alchemized gold and get told no.
You know, with that rule, you say yes. And then when they try to turn lead into gold, you give them a sliver.
So true.
All right. Anything else with magic that you wanted to bring up?
I don't think there was anything else with that. Let me check. Nope, that'd be all. Oh, just to let you know, Imbue used to be in a different thing, but I put it into enchantment because it really should have been an enchantment.
Oh, that's fine.
It literally says as an enchantment in the spell description, and it wasn't an enchantment for some reason. So I just moved that. I figured I'd just let you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Pretty sure it was supposed to be there in the first place, so...
It was supposed to be, yes. I don't even remember where it was. I think it was just hanging out somewhere because it wasn't moved properly.
So,
But yep, that is good for the magics.
I guess on to the survey.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so the Scar character sheet survey. This is going to take a while to go through.
Cheers to that.
So true.
Considering the number of questions, I definitely think we should just go through the summary.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're just gonna go through the summary, not going
Okay.
question by question or individual.
Okay, good.
That's part of the reason of getting like the summary view up is literally just doing the whole. All right, so here's like community aggregate what people think. Otherwise, we would be here for quite the while.
Yeah. Well, this is your thing, so take it away.
Yep. All right. We're going to be going through this question by question for basically every single question except for one because I worded it dumb and forgot to change it. The higher the number, the better. So one is bad, 5 is good, except for a single question which will happen pretty soon. Obviously, 5 is more agreeing with the statement, and most statements are phrased in an intentionally positive way. So that way, when we're scrolling, if we scroll and see that, there's, for instance, 10 votes of 5 and 2 votes of 4 and nothing below that, we can just kind of know that, yes, this is a universally accepted thing without having to go into the question too far. So, the way that this went is it went section of the sheet by section of the sheet based on tabs. So, the entire first section is going to be based on the stat sheet. Then it will go into an open feedback about the stat sheet, where people got to write whatever they wanted in response to certain things, and general feedback. And then it'll go to the next tab in order. This is so that way, they could go tab by tab and fill it out. So, section 1 was based on stat sheet. First question was, I find that the stat sheet has good colors for organization. Most people tended to agree with this. There were a couple people that were neutral and one person who did not like the colors for organizational purposes. This was a pretty minor one to start out with, but, knowing if the colors that we're choosing is actually helping people with organization and what have you is a pretty big thing for a character sheet. Because if the colors were not good, then, it'd be real hard to use it.
Yeah.
So most people agreed. So we don't really have to do anything with colors in particular. We could always adjust them slightly or add some color for organization or whatever if we want, but most people are pretty happy with where it's at. Next statement. I find the attributes box to be well placed and accessible to use. Extreme agreement.
Yep.
Same with expertise and skills with the next two questions. Exact same vote layout. Very heavy agreement. After this, most things will go into a set of the same 3 questions, which is finding the specific box to be well placed and accessible, finding the box to be intuitive, and then finding it to be helpful during play. Some of them go into deeper questions, but basically everything will have those 3 questions. Because I figured that those were the 3 most important metrics, which is it being accessible, it being intuitive, and it being helpful. If a box scores badly on those, it needs to be reviewed in some way, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Quick reference box. A pretty heavy agreement. Nothing that is below a 3, and 3 representing a neutral opinion on. So, having nothing below a 3 is usually a pretty good sign about where it's at. There might be some ways in which we can improve it, but complete unanimous agreement that it is good, or at least acceptable. I think with this, it's considering there's more 5 votes than anything, that it's pretty easily accepted as it being well placed and accessible. Same with it being intuitive to use. The next question was, I find the quick reference box has all the information I need. Basically saying that for information of that type, they rarely need to ever go and look elsewhere for it. Which, again, really good score. The vast majority agreement. Only a couple neutrals. This next one is the one that I forgot to word in a positive way. So it has a very negative score, but that's because it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, I was looking at that and was like, oh god, why does this...
There's a reason I preface this by saying there was one question that I kind of didn't word in a positive way, and it resulted in a shit ton of 1s.
Very scary to look at first.
Yep. which was about the quick reference box has unnecessary information is how I worded it. I should have worded I find the quick reference box only has necessary information. That's the way I should have worded it. I didn't. But basically no one thinks it has unnecessary information inside of it. So people think that it both has all of the information they need and that it doesn't contain unnecessary information, which is a great sign for the quick reference stat box. And for it being helpful during play, that is the most positive vote that the box has even got. So everyone basically unanimously agrees that the box is helpful.
It is a helpful box. It goes in the helpful box.
Absolutely. So the quick reference stats gets a overwhelming pass. Basically nothing needs to be done to it. The next section, because on the sheet basically it goes top to bottom, left to right, as it goes down rows. The armor and natural defense boxes is literally the same thing copy pasted. So I just combined the two of them because there's no difference. Which is, first one is, I find armor and natural defense boxes to be well placed and accessible to use. Very good agreement, however, far more middling in its positivity. A lot more 4s than 5s. I find the armor and natural defense boxes to have all the information I need, which most people are pretty ambivalent to. General agreement, there is at least someone who does not agree with this. I think the majority vote on this being a 3 definitely shows that it needs a redesign of some kind in terms of the amount of information it has.
Maybe just a cleaner version and a more in-depth version later.
Yeah. The next question was, I find armor and natural defense boxes to be appropriately sized for their use, which was slightly more positive than the prior vote, but generally still about the same result, where it's like at most mild agreement with at least one person disagreeing. Most people did, however, find it to be intuitive to use. Still middling, but better than the prior two. And helpful is a bit of a backslide where almost no one thinks that the armor and natural defense boxes are bad, but there's not that many people saying that they are actively good.
It's long.
I think that's a pretty good way to read these results. What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. You said that the general feedback, like they could write whatever they want, is at the end of the section?
If they want to give detail about it, yeah.
Okay. Because, yeah, I would like to know what their actual thoughts are on this, because it's great to have this information, but when they don't, when they're mixed or don't agree, it's kind of like, well, glad we know that you don't agree, but what do we do with it?
That's also why I split it up into all these different questions, because we can literally go section by section and then go, okay, this section got voted lower than the other parts for this box.
Yeah.
So, they might go, it has all it, it's helpful and it's intuitive, but its placement is awful. And then we know, okay, we need to work on this thing's placement, but we don't need to redesign the whole damn box.
Yeah.
Where is the notes for that section?
Basically, it'll go section by section, so it'll go through all of the 1 through 5 votes, and then it'll go to open feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a discussion on whether or not to do that version, or basically put a feedback box after every single box section. But we sort of agreed, me and Zim, that getting people to actually fill the damn thing out is a lot more important than getting the most exacting feedback possible.
Yeah.
Fortunately. Because we
Yep.
can't make people do it.
Yep. So onto the exhaustion box, which back to pretty overwhelming agreement that it is well placed and accessible. Same for it being intuitive, and that it is helpful during play. Exhaustion box, very popular box.
Yes, I know you all love to spend that.
Yeah,
And fwam.
absolutely.
Wham.
Next section is about the hit stun box, where most people are pretty okay with its placement. One person really dislikes its placement. Absolutely hates the hit stun box's placement.
I could definitely see why.
Yeah. As a result of this, I was actually considering that maybe we could roll it in with the damage tracker.
I think the damage tracker might be a good idea. And I mean, I'll have to see what people thought on the damage tracker. I will admit, I spaced filling this out myself, so, you know, the move and all that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would agree, maybe rolling it into the damage tracker, maybe finding a way to just auto-calculate armor and damage and all that. It would be cool, but anyways. We'll see what they say about the damage tracker in a bit.
Yeah. A little bit worse results when it comes to it being intuitive to use. Well, I guess a little bit more polarized results on it being intuitive to use. Which, yeah, I guess it's pretty small, and sometimes people don't understand to put a positive number instead of a negative number. I feel like they figure it out pretty quickly, but, you know.
I could see a checkbox system being put in use.
Potentially.
Probably, I don't know if Google Sheets supports it, but, you know, one of those arrow up or down boxes instead.
Unfortunately, it really doesn't support that. I tried in order to do that. If you actually remember some of the earlier versions of the character sheet, I tried really hard to make that work, but the coding in order to make it work requires that it basically... It is really bad. Google Sheets
It's
does
possible,
not
but
like that.
dumb.
Google Sheets does not like that. It does not work well.
It's possible, but very dumb.
Yeah. However, far more favorable, mild favor towards it being helpful. Almost no one says that it's not helpful. They more have problems with where it's placed and it's how intuitive it is.
That's good.
So onto the damage box. Pretty favorable on its placement. One person does not like its placement, but overall pretty favorable. We could definitely review it and see if there's a better place we can put it.
I personally would say putting it where the armor is probably would be a good idea. Because then it'll be right next to the quick reference stats.
Yeah, probably.
But that's my personal take on it.
Yep. It's still already pretty front and center. It could definitely be more, though.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. Everyone agrees that... Well, no one disagrees that it's intuitive. Couple neutrals, but pretty much everyone agrees that it's pretty intuitive to use the damage box. And everyone agrees that it's helpful. Which is a really good result, considering that, you know, we basically swapped it to where you keep track of the damage in there instead of directly editing your HP. And I know that originally people really still liked editing their HP directly.
Well, I think it's more that they, like, editing the HP was more than what they expected to do because the damage tracker is all the way down here and they didn't realize it was there.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, you know.
See you later, Dunbrine. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep, see you, Dunbar.
Pie.
All
All
right.
right. But basically, everyone agrees that it's really helpful.
Yes.
So, placement could use some work. It's pretty intuitive, and it's very helpful. So, overall gets a pass. Next section was about the actions box, which most people thought was at least not inaccessible, except one person who really hated its location. Same exact results for its intuitiveness, which, it's checkboxes, so.
Yeah.
However, pretty negative result on it being helpful during play.
I can personally say I have never touched it.
Yeah.
Same.
So, that is very fair. And when reading through this the first time, I came up with a bit of a potential solution thanks to one of the comments that was left in the feedback form. So we do have something for this, but noting down actions box kind of got a failing grade on it being helpful. Next box is about the EX dice box being well placed and accessible, which no one disagreed. Probably because it's right next to the spent resources where you would mark off boost die. So it's like right there. Pretty intuitive. No one disagrees that it's intuitive. However, helpful definitely sees a downslide where a couple people that thought that it was intuitive or accessible do not find it to be helpful. Which I will say is pretty fair, because I definitely agree with what one of the responders said, which is that it has about one useful box, which is the boost die tracker. The extra boost die.
Yeah.
So, like, it's helpful for exactly one thing, and it's 2/3 wasted space.
Yeah. I've never used the other two either. Like, we don't really we don't really have scene dice given out in general. That's not really a main mechanic of the game. I think one of the games we've had somebody give that out. I think it was Enja, actually.
It was Digi, yeah.
But otherwise, that's not actually a mechanic in the system.
Well, it is. It's just, like, never used.
But either way, moving to the next one then.
Yep. Which is the spent resources box, which back to very favorable reviews on its placement and accessibility, and then overwhelmingly positive reviews on its intuitiveness and helpfulness. Overall, the spent resources box is one of the most positively reviewed boxes on the entire sheet.
Everybody loves those resources.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving down to maneuvers, which has middling but positive reviews for its accessibility. Where no one thought that it was out of the way, but a pretty even spread about positive to neutral. The intuitiveness was about the same, with one person thinking that it wasn't all that intuitive. And another downslide when it comes to it being helpful. Which, I get, it's mostly there just as a reminder for what the maneuvers do, with the only things that, like, mechanically do anything is the brace and dodge. I think sprint also. I think sprint still halves the stats, but I'd have to double check.
Might be better to make a like reference tab and move things like these over there. But we can consider that after going through everything.
Sprinting does still have your evasions, so sprinting also does stuff.
Okay.
It's just that half of one is still one, so I was just like, wait, does this actually do anything? But, very little in the way of negative votes. It's just also not overwhelmingly positive. So could probably do with like some touch-ups. Maybe moving over to a different area. Next up is about ongoing effects, which trend towards positive. One person dislikes its placement. For it being intuitive, it's, you know, pretty intuitive. Most people agree, or don't find it unintuitive to use. And for its helpfulness, about the same, but it downslides. One person thinks it has basically no helpfulness. And it definitely trends towards neutrality. Which means that it is not found to be that helpful. It's not in the way, but it could be more helpful.
All right.
Which I mostly use this box to keep track of like my dots or my healing over time, or
That's all I've used it for too.
I forgot that box existed too many times to ever have used it.
Yep. Next up is about the buff conditions, which we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to rework anyway, considering we have a lot more conditions now. But most people found that it was actually pretty accessible. It was pretty intuitive and very helpful. So even though it's going to have to be expanded out, I think most people agree that having a box like this, designed like this, is helpful. Is that a pretty fair assessment?
Yeah.
All right. Next up is the injuries box, which is still pretty positive on its placement, but one person dislikes it. It is a bit further down on the sheet, so I could definitely see that its placement away from the damage tracker and the quick reference stats is probably a negative, and it should probably be moved up near to the damage tracker.
Yeah.
But most people find it very intuitive, and even more favorable opinion about it being helpful, which I could definitely see, considering that I made that due to how much people were struggling with what their max HP should be when they get an injury.
Yeah.
So having it automate is understandably popular. Next up is the stat changes box, which accessibility is a bit lower than other boxes that are just above it, which makes sense because, again, we're going further down the sheet. Most people still think that it's well placed and accessible, but definitely a downward trend. For it being intuitive, most people would agree that it's very intuitive, and even more people agree that it is helpful. A couple of neutrals on that, but nothing that goes into the 2 or 1 category on its intuitiveness or helpfulness. So probably just when we're moving stuff around and making space, moving it further back up into the sheet, I think would make people pretty happy.
I'd agree there.
Next up is the strike boxes, which are going to get a pretty negative review, but that's also because they're explicitly to try and remind people that strikes exist. And honestly, probably should just be on the ability slot sheet, but we'll get there. Which is for their placement and accessibility. Technically, average is positive, but that's a pretty middling review.
Yeah.
Intuitive. Most people find them pretty intuitive, which makes sense considering it's just a copy-paste of the ability slot boxes. And for its helpfulness, even bigger downside compared to its accessibility.
I would attribute that to just people don't use strike.
Yeah.
Which we've kind of noticed that for a while anyways, and have wanted to find a way to make it more useful in general, but...
Granted, we are going to be doing that with Might still, I believe. But, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think he got interrupted.
Yeah, sorry, someone was knocking at my door. But, you know, with that, we kind of just need more support for it, I guess, in order for people to start caring.
I think part of it is the expense for upgrading it makes people hesitate towards it. But
Most people naturally recoiling from the idea of taxes.
Pretty much.
much. It's just a struggle to figure out what to do with that, because... Like...
I mean, I guess one thing that...
Like, yeah, it gives double hit stun, but... Yeah, that I don't think that's worth it, what it's costing.
One interesting thing that might make people be more interested in it is, I know right now it's just basic and it doesn't have a subtype, but it'd be interesting-ish if when using strike you get to choose which basic subtype to have that strike be.
I'm all for that.
That might make strikes more dynamic and usable, especially once you figure out which of the basic triangle insert enemy is weak to.
TLDR for Gib Gab, strike is too expensive and not very cool. Yeah.
It gets ridiculous with weapons.
yeah, with weapons it's great, but without weapons it's...
Yeah. You can actually make your strikes ranged.
Yeah. You can spend
It
the
explicitly
XP.
says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's still mostly just the EXP thing. Those taxes. Anyway, next up is the extra passive effects box, where if you don't know where that is, it's below stat changes. Not a very favorable rating on its placement and accessibility. More people voted 3 than anything, which just means that they're just kind of neutral about it. A couple people like it, a couple people hate it.
I don't think I've ever used it.
That is fair. That is
Same.
mostly supposed to be there to keep track of things like, oh hey, I have an injury. What extra narrative shit do I have going on with that injury? Or I have this temporary passive going on, or whatever.
Actually, did I give you guys XP for Wild Traditions?
No.
No, and not for the past few sessions. But we also haven't had much of a chance to spend XP because we haven't been.
Yeah.
It's been the same day, so then I don't think we just asked because there wasn't a point. Because we couldn't spend it anyway.
I think we're about to rest legitimately, though, so...
Oh, you guys are
Yeah, now-
literally
now it
resting.
matters.
Like, right
Yeah,
now.
now it
so-
matters. Hi, Marty.
Hi.
Let me just double check
But-
something real quick here. I'm checking if I have actually... Wow, has it really been at least 3 sessions?
Yeah, it has. But that's also because the past 3 sessions have all been on the same day, so we've just been chilling on that.
Okay, so I did give one, okay.
So when y'all gonna make the mechanic for me to make a mech bold?
Technically speaking, you can make a mech right now.
Hell yeah.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, Whisker's already doodled a mech bold once. We gotta do it. It has to happen now. Also, hi, Jits.
There. Oh wait, no, I was gonna give you guys a little bit more for the actual heist thing, so there you go.
Scroll back down.
Just bump the XP up to 22. 22 XP, 6 merits.
Alright, cool, updated. Anyway. Passive effects, again, people are mostly neutral on the intuitiveness. I mean, it's a fill-in name and effect thing, so it's pretty easily understood how to use it. However, its helpfulness, averaged like neutral to neutral negative, almost. I guess not quite, because there's one more 5 than there was a 1. But that's a pretty ambivalent to negative vote, actually.
Yeah.
Which makes sense considering it's in the bottom corner of the sheet and most people forget it exists.
And most people probably have no idea what to even do with it.
Yeah. It's great for keeping track of miscellaneous things to check when you're checking your stat changes. But also,
You know,
Yeah.
Gib Gab, that's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea at all.
basically you choose physical or ethereal and that strike starts with 4 power.
Did Gabe Gab have a good idea?
I'm
Yes,
thinking
Cookie had a good
you
idea.
can split the 4 between them as you please. So you could do 2 and 2, all 4 and 1, or 3 and 1, whatever you want. A little bit more complex, but, you know, gives them the option.
Yeah, that could work.
I would love...
For a sec. My nose is bleeding again.
Oh my god, what did you do, Werny?
It's too much pollen. My sinuses are exploding.
Stop
fair.
sniffing
I
the
also-
plant sex!
It's all over my car! My fucking Mercedes is black, and there's this fucking green shit all over my Mercedes now. Like, since the black paint, you just see, like, these green smears all over the fucking thing now.
Go to the car wash.
So
I
the
need
the
to-
flower sex is all over your BBC.
Yeah. It really is. I need to go to the car wash tomorrow.
Take care of your nosebleed, duder.
Okay.
All right. Next was about the accessory boxes, which, I mean, they're on the sheet, so I had to ask, but also, like, almost no one has used the accessory slots yet, so.
Yeah, I gave you guys all the option of accessories, but I don't think
I
anybody's...
said what accessory I wanted.
Bailey's has 2.
I know Vari also said what he wanted.
I don't know if you guys actually messaged me that. At least I don't recall getting any messages. But also that happened over the course of the, the move, and good
The
God.
move, yeah. I know that you mentioned like putting it in the chat thing, and then so we put it in the game chat. Yeah, you said also as a reminder, no one has gotten me what you all wanted for accessories, and I responded to that like 3 minutes later, going, "I'm just gonna ask for a cleansing 3 tier 3 accessory. Very simple, but holy shit, does nobody need help against conditions?" And then Vari said, what he wanted a tier 3 insulating accessory.
Ah, right.
And then because it was in the middle of the stream stuff, you canceled the session. And I was dealing with new work stuff.
Okay. Well, anyways,
But yeah,
back to the issue.
most people actively messaged me and went, "Hey, I haven't really used accessories, so I mostly just rated it a 3." So
Yeah.
Grain of salt with all this, but this also is going to probably just go in the bin of we should probably move these. But basically, a pretty middling results overall. Not a lot of people have found it helpful. Not a lot of people have found it unhelpful, because most people just haven't used it. So, kind of moving on past that. Next one was about the saying, I find the stat sheet to be well designed and accessible to use in general. Almost complete agreement except one person who did not like it. Which is unfortunate, but hopefully the things that they don't like are addressed by addressing the rest of the kind of negative things about the stat sheet, according to the survey. For intuitive to use in general, complete agreement. Not even a single 3 or lower. And then for finding the stat sheet to be helpful during play without overloading with information, basically everyone agrees. One person was kind of neutral about it. But at least no one found that it was overloading them. Which is an improvement compared to past versions, where people talked about how it was overloading them.
Yeah.
For the open feedback section, the first question was, are there any boxes on the stat sheet that you would think would be better placed onto a different sheet? If so, please state where you think the box should go. This can be to an existing sheet or a new sheet. First response was, I actually think that most of the stat sheet boxes are pretty important to all be where they are. Some aren't necessarily boxes that every character uses, but for those that do utilize them, they are good to be where they are. Next response was, no, they fit well. Third response, I think it's fine. To note, I made sure that this was optional. They just filled in saying this.
Yeah.
Fourth one was, I'm not sure if accessories should be there. Accessories could be in the inventory, of which I agree. We should probably move that over to the items. Fifth, nothing comes to mind. I would say coloring the boxes in general based off their properties, not unlike how the SCAR manual is multicolored to delimit specific abilities, would be a good option. Of which I'm in favor of, because I like color coding.
I do as well. And, I can definitely see, You know, the attributes and skill expertises and skills could be the. I'm pretty sure it's blue for the chapter they're in.
I know that I mostly do it for like the quick reference stat section or stuff like that, where like I color my HP boxes like a light red along with like my physical, and then my ethereal is more of like a light blue and all that, so I could just look over and see all my shit.
I might just be too used to old school printed character sheets because I had never thought about recoloring things.
Yeah, it took me a while to think about it, but then I'm just like, damn, I wish I could tell at a glance. Wait, I made this.
I have used some recoloring myself, but it's mostly on the ability slots for recoloring my moves. Like I just go in and recolor, or put a little fill color behind the name just so I know, okay, that's that skill or that ability.
Yeah, so what I do, like, if you go back to the ability slots thing, just to show you real quick. What I do for my thing is in the type thing, I go to the type reference and the chart, and I copy the thing, and then I paste it in there, so that way the type is literally just the type box.
That's
my
pretty good.
little trick that I do. That's my favorite one. But yeah, so definitely color coding some things would probably be a great idea.
Yeah.
But that's
But I
also
think-
because in lieu of other colors, I had to make some things be gray, darker gray, or lighter gray. And that's sometimes hard to differentiate.
In general, like the headings are where I would say do some color coding and try to base them on where they primarily are in the book, because each chapter has its own color coding.
Yeah. It might look really eclectic when I do that, but I will definitely try. I can at least experiment with doing that.
We could maybe also put out a, little follow-up question of, hey, what do you guys think about this idea in the SCAR announcements, and ask them to post their thoughts and, like, feedback or such.
Yeah, I'd probably do like a little mock-up to put with each of those questions that we end up making for follow-up in order to go like, hey, do you prefer it with this or this?
Yeah.
Next thing. The extra passives box should be moved towards the conditions and utilities tab and possibly reworked. The accessory boxes should be on the item list, in my opinion. EX Dice has about one useful box. Maybe that could be absorbed into something else. And buff conditions is really useful. However, it might be better off on the actual conditions tab.
I agree on all of those.
Someone else put, I've not used the accessory slot boxes at all to give clear feedback, though they may be better in the items and note sheet. So that's a third person saying, move the accessories to items.
Yeah.
Another person just saying no, and then another person saying strike accessory, passive effects, and maybe maneuvers. Which, yeah. So in general, people want to see moved to a different sheet. The accessories for sure. The strikes are a pretty popular one to get mentioned to go over to ability slots. And then a couple other boxes that are, like, reasonably, yeah, they might be better off on those sheets.
Alright.
Next section was, are there any boxes currently not on the stat sheet that you think should be? These can be existing boxes or new ones. First response, it would be nice to have an open spot for quick notes or a spot to stick abilities/moves/feats that are often used for reference, but it isn't super important since much more and the stat sheet will start getting too cluttered.
I think...
So basically bring back some of the open areas, I think. Is what they want.
Yeah...
I'm saying for what they want.
Yeah.
Another person said, no, not that I can think of. No, that I can think of, but I think they meant to say not that I can think of. Someone says something for keeping track of moats.
Already planned.
Which if we, yep, and if we did that, then also gonna have to do the Vim, but Next response was, I think people liked the roll calculator from the 1.4 sheet. There might be space for it at the top right of the sheet.
Did people?
I mean, I know some people that used it. I was confused why people used it. But I was also just like, you know what, sure, I guess it doesn't cost me anything. Because we had open space originally. And then for the 1.5, I went, do people even use this, and yeeted it into the void? So, I guess I could bring it back.
I think that's...
I guess...
I would say that's something that we should put into the announcements and see how many people actually do want that.
Yeah. I'm just saying for,
there.
the viability of the suggestion.
Yeah, yeah.
Next one is number of injuries in a specific tier, which is a good point, because currently there's just a checkbox for if you have an injury, rather than how many tier 1 injuries you have. Because you can pick up multiple injuries on a tier.
That is definitely a very good idea.
Yep. Next up is, first of all, High Regis.
Hi, Guru!
Hi, Guru. Hi, Regis. Which says mechanics for specific optional abilities, such as shapeshifter stability stat tracking. I knew who that was.
I do think he put in a...
Go ahead.
I think it was him that put in a neat little design for his sheet, but for the stability.
Yeah, he sent it to me.
I got one for shapeshifter and magic personally. I've shown Tal, so
yeah, I've done my own little mini graphics that I was just like, well, this isn't for the vast majority of characters, so I don't know if this should really go on the stat sheet or anything, but
I think
we've discussed optional add-on sheets.
Yeah.
But
yeah, which is what I was thinking about. And then I was also potentially gonna put the magic and might stuff there because they're optional add-ons technically, but
yeah.
That was gonna be when I actually start trying to stitch this thing back together and figure out where everything can actually go.
Yeah.
Next person says stuff for magic would be nice either here or on abilities, which yeah. 2 people saying no, and then someone saying movement.
I agree with that.
Which,
movement is
yeah.
kind of I think it's item and notes, was it? No.
No, it's
actually in conditions and utilities.
Yeah, that is
I only know that because I've had to dig for it for so many times where I'm like, where the frick is it?
That, it was mostly because people complained about the movement speed being on the front part of the sheet when it almost never changes, and quote, I know what my movement speeds are, is what multiple people told me. And then I'm like, okay, off to the Shadow Realm, but still existing. And then now people are like, hey, movement should really be on the stat sheet. And I'm like, okay.
That's people realizing that they're
to be
stupid
fair,
and don't remember things.
One is saying that, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but
I would like it back on the front page personally.
Next, are there any modifications that you make to the stat sheet to help you during play? People wildly misunderstanding what modification means.
They did not understand the assignment. Understood.
As the first response is, I click on exhaustion checkboxes and boost dice checkboxes a lot. I didn't think I had to define a modification to the sheet, but I guess I should have.
Oh boy.
The next one says, make it more clear the boxes on the main sheet are for strikes, which is an interesting choice considering they're literally labeled physical strike and ethereal strike, but okay. Another person saying nope. Another person saying move spent resources or exhaustion to be next to each other because they strongly correlate but are currently separated. I think that would help me remember when I've got exhaustion penalty, which is good suggestion.
Just not the question.
This is about not the question.
For the record, for any
and
of you that filled this out and did this and are watching, we appreciate that you filled it out. It's just, we're going to need to have some humor at some of this over because there is... God, we're not even halfway through.
To be fair, this is the longest section. Like,
Fair.
others will go a lot faster. This is the important one, TM. And then we get into people actually using it, and then back into people misunderstanding, which is someone saying adding a section for moat capacity and ability slots, which closer, because that is not the stat sheet, but it is at least a modification. And then someone said, I overloaded the strike boxes with modifiers that rolled over to the side because weapons are sometimes comprised of multiple traits and EXP paid abilities that can be more than 10 lines of modifications, each of them needing to be kept track of for EXP cost and or weapon complexity costs. Which,
What?
because you can, I know what this person is trying to say, because your weapons can contribute to strikes. What they're saying is that in order to account for weapons that were contributing to strikes, they overloaded the strike boxes with like the extra effects section.
Oh.
And expanded them. That is what they are trying to say. Because there wasn't enough room. If they were trying to keep track of the stuff that was actually purchased on the strikes and on weapons at the same time that were contributing to strikes. Which is at least they filled out this question correctly.
Joke.
Immediate points for that. Next person says, I will generally color code a bit more so I can glance over and see this is all my physical stuff.
Hi, Tal.
This one was me.
Hi, Tal.
You already said earlier you did that.
Yeah, I literally said this exact thing. But hey, you know, I was not the only person that went color code.
Yeah.
So, you know. Next person says no. And next person gives good response or feedback, but again, not the right section. Which is, I would like it to be rearranged so health stuff is all adjacent, resources adjacent to one another, etc. I find myself digging to find the right box. I tend to think in sections and would like to see the sheet have like next to like.
I agree on that.
Yeah. So, 4 modifications that people actually make is
Adding a section for boat.
Adding in missing sections, and then occasionally expanding out things that don't have enough space. And color coding.
Alright, on to the next one.
Yep. For boxes that scored a 2 or lower in some category, how would you like to see it improved? First person says, I only really rated the usefulness of the accessory slots that low because I never used them. Never had an accessory with an active effect that needed tracking. Which, like, yeah, okay. That is the question, but, you know, good to know. Another person said, hit stun should have a clear hit stun button, and perhaps an apply evasion / hit stun button rather than raw numbers. It's not very intuitive how to use, and you might forget to clear it if you're not well versed in the system. Second part to that is spent resources should have a thicker line separating vigor, willpower, and boost dice, just for clarity's sake.
I definitely agree on that one.
Yep. in order for that to not fuck up everything, you kind of got to, I guess, like, do it all over the sheet. And just as a small example of what that looks like, I ended up, like, kind of just doing it to a sheet in order to see what it looks like as, like, an example. So, I guess if you guys want to take a look at Riv Sheet, where I don't know why I decided to do this to Riv Sheet when I literally made, later a thing called Test Character Sheet stuff, where I did other modifications. This one explicitly is just on Riv Sheet. Where it has boulder lines.
Oh. I don't think the boulder lines necessarily have to be everywhere, though.
The problem is that when they're not, only the spent resources looks like that, and it changes the thickness of things. Because the bolded lines do take up space.
Yeah, I would make the boxes up above and below further apart and stuff, and yeah, I see.
And it looks really weird. If you go to the actual character sheet, if you have it open, like, just to give an example of what it looks like, it just kind of ends up looking like that, which is hilariously, like, accidental bolding that looks really weird.
I'm not gonna lie, though, I do like the bolding that you did all over Riv Sheet.
Yeah, I figured it's like a really minor thing, but, like, you know,
Yeah.
I could section stuff off more, and then, like, it provides a little bit extra visual clarity. So, like, I didn't dislike it, but, you know, I figured I'd toss it your guys' way and go like, hey, what do you feel about this?
I say do it.
That's my reason. Yeah, the bold's fine.
Also, you can see my little color coding I do.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, your blue sheet actually hurts my eyes because Google Sheets light mode.
That would do it. Yeah, it's actually a pretty comfy color. Otherwise,
I mean, in dark mode it probably looks really nice, but I can't see it in dark mode when it's not my sheet.
Fair enough.
That looks fine to me, but well.
I'm also colorblind, so
yeah.
What color affects my eyes differently? And that light blue is just like, white.
But yeah, so this is what it would look like with that bolding, which I am fine doing. I was just more like, I should show it to you guys instead of just doing it.
We'll just make everything purple. That'll help you out, right, Era?
It'll improve my mood.
I mean, if you want everything to look like poop, to me, sure. That is what I've been told purple looks like to me. I'm not sure.
But yeah, moving on to the next thing. Someone says, armor and natural defenses need to be better organized or have more room. They don't have room for me to list everything if I buy a lot of things for them. Which, like, yeah, there's like 8 slots.
Yeah.
You could do the note trick, but, like, there's only 8 slots, and there's definitely more than 8 traits that you could put on something. So, like, yeah. Then again, most people agreed that armor and natural defenses could use a bit of a redesign anyway.
And maybe moved elsewhere? Well, no, it is something that should be...
It kind of needs to be available for combat stuff.
Yeah.
Unless we make a dedicated combat sheet, which I think someone did suggest.
Yeah, dedicated combat sheet. Another option is to have all the big details on another sheet, but have a quick reference on the main sheet. Because I know D&D does that, and a couple other systems where you have all your armor on another sheet, but you just have the important numbers on the front sheet.
Yeah, I guess we could move all the extra effect stuff and detail work onto the back, and then I could even have the front stuff, like some of it, like just straight up reference the detailed sheet and have it auto-populate. But yeah. Regardless of that, EX Dice doesn't really have enough stuff for it to be useful. The actions box isn't the most useful thing in the world. Even if I should probably use it more, maybe it'd be more useful if it included reactions. Stat changes are really useful, but it'd be nice if I didn't have to scroll down to see them. And extra passives is both out of the way and unhelpful 99% of the time.
Unfortunately, we can't do much about the scrolling. That is just something that is going to happen. That said,
the fix for that would technically be moving it up, but yeah.
Yeah, the problem is finding a spot for it. But either way.
Next person says, I just have not used those boxes I marked low enough to properly gauge their effectiveness, so I marked them low in case others found them lacking.
So, for future reference, everybody, if you're gonna do that, if you don't have an opinion on something, just do the average, you know, the neutral, the 3.
That's what the 3 is for, baby.
If you don't actually have something against it, just mark it neutral, please.
Please don't weight our stuff negatively because you feel that other people might mark it negatively, but you honestly don't know. It's like giving something a 5, or giving a restaurant a 5 even though you've never eaten there, or a restaurant a 1 even though you've never eaten there. That's just kind of, that throws off the weights.
Yep. And then the last person says, many were in the limited use category or just badly placed where it was difficult to locate rapidly. Which, like, yeah, some of these boxes are small or out of the way. And then, for generalized, are there any additional recommendations or feedback you'd like to give on the stat sheet?
Real quick, I just need to, say this to Mala. Mala, to Era, you look like piss and shit. Just saying. I'm sorry.
It's not true. The color purple... I've sat down in Photoshop and like messed with the color angles and stuff like that to get it close-ish. And I don't remember who said it, but somebody once looked at purple and went, "Oh my god, that looks like Dookie Brown." I was like, "All right, I wouldn't know. Thank you."
Nice.
And I actually I hate the color purple. I hate it. It's ugly to me.
Good to know I'm ugly.
You're mainly black, dude. Settle your
yeah, but I like my purple accents.
Anyways, carrying on, Mr. Ender Dragon.
Yeah, shut up. I literally made my soda before Minecraft came out.
You opened that door, Tao, by saying that out loud. Continue.
Someone says, there isn't anything I don't like enough about the stat sheet to be critical of. It is all relatively useful for someone, even if I don't personally use everything. And then another person says, that's all that came to mind right away. I don't know what to make of that, but you know.
That feels like a run quote.
Then someone says, it has a lot of useful things, but some of it feels like it was put there because there wasn't a better place. And then said, also the exhaustion box is nice, but maybe it'd be better if it wasn't a bunch of check marks. Not sure about that one. And so for that one, and I guess like one or two of the other ones, I did start putting together like a little test sheet thing that has some of these changes implemented.
For that
Mostly for this one, it's just exhaustion and available actions that I did the little test thing on.
For the exhaustion one about the check marks, I would say make note to do one of those mini polls.
Yeah. If you feel like seeing it.
I think the moment that you make it a numerical value like hit stun, people are going to dislike it.
Yeah, I mean, the check boxes are fun, but also it takes up so much space, actually.
It does, but I still prefer the checkboxes, but I think this is something to take to the community and see what the majority thinks on that suggestion.
Yeah, in the little Scar Dev thing, I did end up making like a little box just to be like, how small can I make this? Just go the other end of the fucking spectrum.
I love how the title of the box is almost bigger than all of the information for it.
I did say I tried to make it as small as possible to go like, what size can I fit this in?
Good night, Mala.
Good night, Mala. Next.
Yep. Which is moving on to EXP sheet stuff, which is very short. Which is, I find the EXP sheet to be well designed and accessible to use in general. Overwhelming agreement. I find the
there
EXP
was
sheet
one
to be
thing
intuitive.
that was skipped.
Oh yeah.
The combat sheet.
Oh yeah. Which is, it may be worth considering a combat sheet where armor, natural defenses, and some attack values live. Could section out moves below defenses, though this is a consideration require deeper conversations. Which,
Hello.
like, yeah. I was about to say, like, that's some pretty obvious wording for era, but yeah.
No,
looking at
this is an entirely anonymous survey. We have no idea who this was.
I recognize my own misspellings when I'm typing too fast and not thinking.
Oh, I was just looking at your word choice. Like, the ending thing of, though this is a consideration or will require deeper conversations, is, like, a really easy tell that it was you.
Sorry I work in corporate America and have to talk like that all the fucking time.
Well, it's more that it
Oh, I know,
identifies you as one of the devs.
Yeah.
The bellow amuses me. I didn't know I missed that. When I meant to say below. Bellow. We need him bellow at below, or bellow at defenses.
Cabby's saying this is the equivalent of the teacher knows it's your homework by your handwriting.
I've had that and I hated that in high school.
But yeah, EXP sheet statements. EXP sheet to be well designed and accessible. Overwhelming, yes. Find the EXP sheet to be intuitive to use. Overwhelming, yes. I find the EXP sheet helped me organize purchases easily. I worded that a little bit weird, whatever. Still, almost overwhelming, yes. One person voted a 3.
Yeah, I think the EXP sheet is really good.
Yep. And then next thing was, I find the EXP sheet gives me enough room to list all my purchases, which most people agreed on. One person disagreed on.
How many fucking
like-
purchases do you have?
I was about to say, I don't know how many boxes y'all want, man, but
There is so much here!
I mean, Rayleigh's actually almost has his list maxed out, but that's because he's got a bunch of shit.
well, yeah, but it also helps when you use like all the stuff under your EXP purchases, like for the skills, and then you list the specialties and feats there, and then all the abilities and all that in the middle column. And then at that point, it's just like, at some point, you just got to duplicate it and just go like, all right, cool. I'm just going to duplicate this tab because I bought too much shit.
Yeah.
Just add some more, you know, lines or something. You know? Anyway.
That was mostly there to be like, you know, like for the maybe like the purchase info stuff, but it was also just like, you know, just to see. For the open feedback, though, it's going to be the same questions, which is, first one is, any boxes not on the EXP sheet that you think should be? And basically everyone said no.
Hey, somebody wants a
and
new
said-
type of XP.
Yeah, someone wants yellow XP or something, you know. They also said an option to bake in your initial purchases at character creation might be nice. Which, like, that is what our next project is about. But for this, you know, it's a Google Sheet, man. I can make some magic. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's where Hex comes in. Hex is working on this.
Yeah, that's for the next thing. And I'm just like, I can do a lot with this. I cannot do that much magic. Are there any modifications that you make to the EXP sheet to help you during play? Of which, first person says no, since we can only spend XP during downtime. Which, yeah, I guess you don't really have to do it to help during play. Nope. We could probably make the merit box smaller to make room for other things.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because it isn't like you need more than enough room for, like, 1, maybe 2 of the custom merit purchases, so yeah, that could definitely be chopped off.
Yellow EXP is the EXP of our characters.
Next person says, I make new headers a lot of the time for stuff like specialties and feat purchase lists.
We did that one.
And then next person says no, and then another person says, I have found myself resectioning things into groups for EXP.
I definitely would agree on that. That would be a nice addition. My issue is, making sure there's enough space for it. But that might be... I personally think it would be better to use the horizontal rather than the vertical. So that way, if they need to add more lines at the end of a section, they can, without disrupting the other section. Well, that's my personal thought on that.
That's fair. On the plus side, we can mostly keep the skill area the same, because there's already custom things built into there, and honestly, if you need fucking more skills, I don't know what to tell you.
I'd say maybe shrink them a bit, a few less columns. Put the skills over here, put the merits underneath the skills, just because, that's a short section.
So, I just had a brain blast. Give me a second.
Uh-oh.
This is an entirely complete aside. But I just realized. Alright, so on the 1.5 character sheet, if I go and I do my little note trick, and I do that, hey Zim, hover over academics, which has the wrong thing. Just I literally grabbed the first skill that showed up on the
yeah, I see it
on the SCAR system, and then if you hover over it, I love making little note things to put more text onto these thin lines without like merging stuff. I just realized we could put the descriptions for what every single skill does on here in the EXP purchases and on the actual character sheet, and have it do a little pop out of exactly what the skill covers.
Where'd you put this?
I just put it on the actual like version 1.5.0 character sheet, like the base one that people copy off of.
You can just look at my screen share here.
Yeah.
To see what he's talking about. Might be small, but...
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So, like, we should really do that. I just brain blasted that. I'm like, hey, wait a second. My little note trick.
Yeah, I've been using those notes a lot for piercing the veil because for all the equipment.
Yeah, it's like super useful.
Oh yeah.
It's just that I never thought about doing it for like putting in skill definitions and stuff for people like right away. And I'm just like, hey, wait a second.
But yeah, I would say move the merits to below the skills. And then we've got space for a few columns that we could have for, moves or abilities, specialties, feats, etc. But I personally think it would be better to do it across, or horizontally, rather than make them scroll all the way down the list to get to the next section. Which is one of the main things that I despise about how you have the specialties set up.
That is fair. Just to like give a random example, here's what I did to like Nova's sheet. Which like isn't exactly the same thing, but like just to give an example.
Yeah. I'll bring that up on stream. Yeah, I'm saying make it horizontal, but yeah, that's basically the same idea.
Yeah. Which, either way, we got multiple people that already do the modifications to make new headers and resection things and all that. So, popular idea too. No one scored anything 2 or lower except the enough room. One person just said nothing of note in that section for category. For additional recommendations or feedback.
I swear, if the one that put in nothing of note is the one that did the 2, I'm going to strangle them.
I could check, but stop.
I don't care enough, but
yeah. Where it says any additional recommendations or feedbacks on the EXP sheet. Someone said, mostly I'd like more room to notate each individual purchase I make instead of having to bundle moves all together.
Which might be the 2-1, and I'm guessing that means that they are, you got move 1. Alright, I spent 20 XP on 4 power. I spent 10 XP on short range, which that's kind of what
that would make you run out of room pretty fast.
I mean, I got an entirely different sheet that I made for constructing moves where all those experience costs live. So,
okay, I'll share one of my. Where are my character sheets? Sure, I'll just bring up Furvis, which apparently he's got a lot of XP to spend. But anyways, like, I just on the ability tab, I have it all tracked here, auto-calculated here, and the one that I actually use is this one, because these are dynamic. It's all added up, and this box is what I just automatically have pulled over to the XP sheet.
Yep, which you can do that. The only reason that I haven't done that is just because of people with like dynamic moves or shit.
Yeah.
LDR people, learn how to use sheets just a little bit, or Excel just a little bit. It'll save you a lot of work in the end, and you can make it do all sorts of fancy stuff that we can't account for.
We would love to do all of this stuff that you guys would like to have. Why did this scroll down so damn far? Apparently it decided to just scroll to the end of this damn thing.
You might have accidentally hit end.
No, it wasn't all the way at the end. It was just like really far down. But anyways,
Yeah, we're running out of time, so we got to
yeah,
continue.
yeah.
Yep, I'm just going to hurry through the rest of this. Because the vast majority of the rest of this is really simple. Next person says, no, it's well integrated with the stat sheet. Third person says, I'm getting used to having the XP sheet as intended. It works well. I just was always used to keeping up with all that myself. It's nice to have the sheet do the work for me now. Just have to remember to actually utilize it. Which... Okay, yeah, it's probably... If you're used to napkining, checking your XP with, you know, your stuff instead of just actually putting it into your sheet, I guess that would be a struggle. The next person says, I kind of wish merits and skills were stacked. This would give more room for EXP purchases. As games progresses, become more evident EXP takes significantly more room overall.
Okay, so
It
what
would
I
be nice
suggested.
Yep. It would be nice if maybe we had a method of sectioning the EXP purchases into feats, moves, primeval, etc. Though with a level of modulation in effect, that may be hard to assemble a one-and-done in configuration. Which is also what I did, so that's funny. If we did this for primeval, it might be nice to have a subsection set up so you can see what abilities are under the main feature since it branches. I'm trying to think about how to even do that on sheets, but yeah. I get what they're saying.
Yeah, I get what they're saying. I personally just for my primeval features, I have them listed here with a dash for the things under it. And then on the EXP sheet, all I do is usually I do equals, you know, this plus this plus this plus this.
I do it like this, personally. I'm going to throw it in dev. That's how I break it out.
I mean, that's fair.
I'll sometimes do it like this.
Fair. Everybody's got their own way.
Yep. But yeah, there's ways of doing it. But yeah, you know, just a pretty positive overall. Some organizational stuff people want. That's about it.
Yeah.
Next up is about ability slots, which has very little to go over. Which is, first, ability boxes give me enough room. Most people say, yeah, it gives me enough room. You could definitely run into, like, the edges of it, but most people say it gives them enough room. Well-placed and accessible. Yep. Pretty much agreed. Intuitive to use. Pretty much agreed. Useful during play. Pretty much agreed. And then the next question was, I prefer ability boxes to be universal for all abilities instead of discrete, moves, weapons, etc. Most people are ambivalent to they want it to be universal, and then one person really wants it to be discrete.
I hope this isn't the same person that's voting things low because they haven't used it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Before you guys should do that, because now it's kind of cast doubt on things.
Yeah, what I'm going to do later when someone said that, I'm just going to go look through their responses and see if they're, like, the one lone person who's voting one on some of the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Next person says, I prefer the ability boxes, or not next person. Next question, I prefer the ability boxes to be manual instead of fully automated. In
Holy
which case,
shit,
we've achieved
that
an
is...
even split. The literal even split.
Oh my god, how?
We've somehow found the exact group of playtesters who are literally split down the middle about having it be automated versus manual.
That's a good thing, though.
Which also means that this box has somehow given us exactly 0 useful information.
Exactly. It's like, okay, great. We don't know whether to go one way or the other. Fuck.
Face-centered queens.
Next one, however, thankfully, attack information box is well placed and accessible. People find it intuitive, and people find it helpful. And it is the same result with the range band box, where most people find it accessible, intuitive, and helpful. The move cap box is also well placed, intuitive, and helpful.
Yeah, those
the
are
ability
good
slot
points.
sheet is very popular. For this, are there any boxes currently not on the ability sheet that you think should be? These could be system boxes or new boxes. First response, the stat changes box, which is an interesting suggestion, which might work out, or at least like a copy of them. I can make it so if you change it on the front page, it'll copy over to the ability slots. It could also just be moved on to like the combat box, but you know, if we end up making a combat sheet. Next person also said probably want a section for current boosts from the scene stat changes, since people probably forget to actively put those in or take them into account if negative. Which is true, which is why I put in the damage column. For, you know, the attack information to go like, hey guys, you have minus damage, or you have plus damage, please use it. And then the rest of them said nothing for the section that actually had a response. Next one. Are there any modifications you make to the ability sheet to help during play? Sometimes they make type notes about effects or modifiers into blank fields of abilities getting actively used, so you don't have to swap back and forth. And then the next person says, if it kept up with the EXP cost as I built the ability, which... Okay. I get why they want that. They're definitely one of the people that voted a 5 for automation. I can tell you that. The only reason why it doesn't do that is, again, just because of, you know, dynamic moves and shit like that.
We have a lot of moving parts that go into these, and we would love it to be automated, but limitations.
This is a goal of ours. However, this is Google Sheets.
That's why we've got Hex building our own system.
Yep. And then for boxes that scored a 2 or lower in some category, how would you like to see it improved? One person said not enough info. Another one said I automated my abilities, which, okay.
I'm guessing there is one person that has put not enough info on most of these.
I think they didn't realize that for all of the open response sections, I literally just made them all optional. I made all of the 1 through 5s mandatory, and all of the open feedbacks optional. So all these people that are putting no or not enough info, they literally didn't have to do this. They just did that. Next section. Are there any additional recommendations or feedback you'd like to give on the ability sheet? One person says, have a mirroring of the stat changes box might actually be helpful to have besides or near the attack information. But I don't think it should be removed from where it is at the front page. And then next person says, automation would be nice with a caveat. It may be slightly too bloated to be precise. Which nailed it like the Romans. Automation would be nice. However, if you end up having to manually go and edit all the automated shit anyway, then it's not automated.
Yeah.
You gotta automate the automation.
Like, we're working on it. We're working on it. Next, which is about specialties, feats, and features, which is health feats box to be well placed and accessible to use. 2 people don't like it, which I can kind of understand because it was kind of just put there because that's where it fit. If people think that it was put there because it was just being shoved there, you are absolutely correct. It was.
Yeah.
It is very accessible, though.
Deving in a nutshell. Why is it there? Because that's where it fit.
So yep, the two people who voted negatively on this, I understand. It is not well placed. It is only accessible. Intuitive to use, vast agreement. Helpful during play, vast agreement. Automating your max HP is pretty helpful.
Yes.
Next person, feet box to be well placed and accessible to use. Yes. Intuitive to use. Yes. Helpful during play. Yes, with one detractor. And then enough room to list and explain purchased feats. Very negative. I don't think people are using the notes function in order to fit in more things, because it's mostly supposed to be name, and then the effect is like supposed to be shorthand. And then you're
Yeah,
supposed to put in a note about the more info, but I don't think people know how to do that actually.
We might have to start considering that people just don't know how to use Excel and or
Yeah,
Sheets.
which is fine. It's just more like people don't know about it, so of course they're going to rate this really negatively, and that we should probably address this in some way.
Yes. So if you ever want to learn how to do some neat things, I can teach you.
Yep.
well, teaching, like with this, we gotta find a solution that doesn't require teaching them how to use Excel or
Well,
Sheets.
That was a side note.
Fair.
That wasn't main. That was just as an aside. I can teach you how to use Excel.
By the way, in a second, Zim, I already know that you're going to want to throw something. So I'm just going to preface that before we scroll down a bit more. Because up next is the skill specialty box section. Which the first one says, most people agree that they're well placed and accessible.
Oh, it gets worse.
Most people agree that they're intuitive. A lot of people agree that they're helpful. Couple detractors. Couple people saying no. And then scroll down one more. I prefer the skill specialty boxes to be separate instead of being one box like the feet box. Even split.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say I am moving this because I did not fill out the thing. My response is 1.
I was the one too, so it's fine.
I literally, on every single one of my sheets, do this.
I look at my EXP sheet.
I
I look at
literally
my
just...
EXP sheet. I literally never use this. I literally put it all in EXP sheet, and I only look at my EXP sheet. It's the same
Exactly.
for feats.
Yeah, I tend to do that too, but, you know. Either way, I still put these in here, and I copy-paste this on every new sheet.
Which is fair, considering that I literally, in the earlier versions, I literally just had a box like that was on the fucking, like, main sheet, the front page, for specialties and feats, for, like, your most used shit. And then people felt it was too crowded, and I'm like, okay, I'll move it to its own thing.
I don't use the boxy thing. I can't use it. It's too...
It's helpful in some ways, and it's awful in others.
Yeah.
Big trade-off. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that, again, on this one about preferences, just like with the automation versus manual, exact even split somehow. Y'all really managed it.
Twice.
Next, find the skill specialty boxes, give me enough room to list and explain purchased. I wrote feats. I should have put specialties. I copy-pasted and forgot to change the last word. Which is, technically it averages positive, but there's a lot of negative votes there. So they definitely want more room, which, like, they should also use the notes, but we need to address that. Primeval features box, which is, again, technically averages positive, but that's a lot of negative votes. They probably don't even know that it's there. They probably got, like, figured out that this existed.
Yeah, I would vote this a 1 myself. Like, You have to.
I
scroll
legitimately think
so
I
far.
legitimately think I voted this a 1 or a 2 myself.
I honestly didn't know what was there until this thing, and I'm a dev.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what it was designed around, Furry. It's just also that, like, I accidentally did the whole. People know how to make notes on Google Sheets and Excel stuff. It's literally just a right click. Of course, they know it's there. Vastly overestimating how much people know about this shit.
I mean, apparently not very many people remember that Excel is a calculator.
I know,
So,
right?
I don't know how many people I've been helping make characters is like, okay, so if you just put in this, or click here, plus, and then click here, it'll just do the math for you. And they're like, wait, it does that? I'm like, oh no.
Yep. All right. For intuitiveness, yeah, it's intuitive. It's a fill-in box, you know. Helpful during play. Somehow more positive than the well-placed and accessible vote.
Fair enough.
But, like, okay. And for it giving them enough room, a little bit more negative. But also, I don't think people know about the notes thing. It works so good if you know about the notes, but yeah, it's a fill-in box. Are there any boxes currently not on the specialty features sheet that you think should be? This could be existing box or new ones. Someone says it needs big blank spaces, which notes. And then someone says there's a space by the health feats, and I want to put something there. No idea what though. Which is basically just someone having their OCD moment over the big empty space.
Yeah, it's what me and Tal did on the Scar references with
Yeah.
that blank space. That's
Yeah.
So like, I get it. I so get
yeah.
It is a
Mon-
bit of an outlier.
it. It was put there because I had to put it somewhere, and that's where it lives until the new sheet, which I'm definitely fucking moving that again. Anyway, modifications. Someone's saying that they don't even use it under the modifications since there's so little space. Hopefully people are watching this and are learning about the notes thing. And have learned about the notes thing. More room, so they edit it to have more room. Someone says they don't like how much scrolling they have to do to find stuff on it, which... Okay, but there isn't really that much of a fix for that. Did not realize there was a specialized spot for primeval feats until completing the survey.
That's probably
No,
me.
and it's scattered, and I didn't even know there was a primeval features box on this page. I use this so sparsely, even though it contains all my specialties, I tend to run into the EXP page to see what I have first.
Okay,
That
no,
one's
one was mine.
actually you.
Yeah.
The other one was someone else just going, I didn't know that was there. Boxes scored 2 or lower. Someone saying just never have enough space. Another person said, I covered my primeval feet lines green to denote them, and sub feats a lighter... So basically someone color coding. So someone modifies it to color code. Why is this
What?
here instead of in the modifications?
I was just looking at that. I'm like, what? Why?
All right.
Night Shadow
Someone
Hunter.
says almost anything more developed than how it currently is. Which, like, also fair. This isn't exactly a developed sheet. Let's be real. Make the info box bigger or make the text go down a line of box instead of running off the page and having to click the text to see it in the formula line.
Oh goodness, people don't know how to do wrapping, do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
people don't know how to do wrapping, and people don't realize that if I told it to wrap when they pasted something in effects, it would stretch out all the other boxes adjacent to it.
Yeah.
It's like that for a reason. Anyway. Feats need more space to have a description. I get... Notes. I'm gonna shove notes down their throat. Anyway. I mean, we're gonna have to adjust it anyway, but it's also like... Guys...
Fan art of Taldarius shoving a sticky note down a YHC no person icon.
I'm just, like... Unless you want me to somehow fucking code in a compendium of all of our feats, which we're working on for the other thing, not for Google Sheets. you're gonna have to write stuff, and if you're writing stuff, whatever. People will learn about the notes. Next thing, conditions utility statements, which is conditions box to be well placed, accessible to use, vast agreement. Intuitive to use, vast agreement. Useful during play, vast agreement. Size category box, vast agreement. Intuitive is pretty much agreement with the one person voting too, and then helpful during play, multiple negative votes, which I don't know what's unhelpful about, but okay.
Yeah.
It's just an automation option. It literally just automates stuff. I mean, it's out of the way. Like, I would agree that it's pretty out of the way, but that's also because you set that shit like once, and then like if you like evolve or have mechanics specifically that change your type or size, and then that's it. Just click a box. It's fine. Extra passive effects box, well placed and accessible, which I don't know how this got voted positive. I voted a 2 on this shit, I'm pretty sure.
I think I voted 3.
I don't know how you vote. I don't know how they voted that, but I don't. Whatever. Intuitive to use, yeah, it's a fill-in box, and helpful during play. Somehow more positive than I thought it was going to be. I think
I've never used it myself.
this one might be more positive than the one on the front page.
Might be.
It might be.
Maybe.
Anyway, cover modifiers box to be well placed and accessible to use, which it's not. That's fair. Intuitive to use, yeah, it literally it just says it. And helpful during play. Some people find it very helpful. A lot of people find it not very helpful. It really depends if it's even in a game that uses the damn cover, and at which point you'll just remember what cover does anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, fair.
Most games don't make use of cover because most systems don't really use it anyways.
Yep. Feats limit box to be well placed and accessible to use. Positive, neutral, and then a couple negatives. Which
Wait. Oh, that is there.
Yeah. That is where you check to see your aura range and primary range and feat limit. It exists.
It's in a weird spot, but it's there.
It is there. Intuitive to
Maybe
use, yeah. Pretty intuitive.
maybe that's a prime candidate for going into the specialties, feats, and features page. You know, that empty space up there next to health feats.
Yeah, potentially.
Anyways.
And then helpful during play. Pretty helpful, except 2 people who are just like, what the fuck is this? Movement speed box is well placed and accessible, which somehow has a lot of 5s.
Yeah.
Intuitive to use, yeah, it just says it. And then helpful during play. Way more 5s than I was expecting, guys. Currently not on the condition you think should be. No on all fronts. Any modifications?
People are burning out at this point, and that's why we're getting weird results now.
Yeah, maybe. Any modifications make to conditions utility sheet help you during play? Someone said they put in a new movement speed. Otherwise, they like never look at it aside to reference conditions. Someone says, I think cover modifications are something that change rapidly in combat, so aside from being a reference, I'm a bit confused to the use of the checkboxes, as I rarely check this time aside for reference, which is correct, true. Passive effects is fine, I just rated it low because it's also on the main page. I would like to see it at the top, possibly, of this page, which, that is true. It is somehow on both of them. I don't know why I put 2 of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
For boxes that scored 2 or lower in some category, how would you like to see it improved? This is a passionate response.
Yeah.
Wow.
How the heck are cover modifiers and feat limits doing here? I forgot they existed. The feat limits box could be in specialties, feats, and features sitting next to the health feats box. It would be next to relevant information then. And cover mod is going to be in the ability slots page right next to attack information or something. That way it's next to relevant information as well. I never used these because I forgot they even existed. I think that's the
Fair.
most passionate response.
Yeah.
Like, not incorrect, but like, damn. That was
Fair.
surprising.
I think I know who wrote that too, but
Extra passive effects has a spot on the main sheet already. This makes it easy for you to forget you placed things in one of the two places. I still don't know what to use it for. Perhaps the shiny mirrors in my vision? Hi. Hi there. Oh, man. Anyway. A lot of the boxes on the bottom of the sheet are super out of the way. This is fine for boxes like the size category that doesn't change or get referenced much, but the others almost never get looked at, even if it'd be useful. I've not had the need to utilize these particular boxes in play to judge their effectiveness one way or another. Cover, feet limits, and movement speeds all feel like they should be elsewhere.
Fair.
And then additional feedback, see above, and smaller boxes on top of the big list would help maybe more move passive things above the checkbox section. Just like, okay. Next up is the items and notes, which is going to be a very short one, which is carried items, well placed and accessible. Someone voted a 2 on that. I don't know where else you want it, man. Is it not top left enough for you?
Do you want it on another sheet for some reason?
Yeah. Intuitive to use. Yeah, I'm still going to ignore that too. I don't... come on.
They voted that way in
play.
case somebody else wanted to vote that way.
Probably. Helpful during play. Most agree. Worn items is well placed and accessible to use. Somehow, that one doesn't have a 2 on it, even though it's below the other one. Anyways, vast agreement. Intuitive to use, vast agreement. Helpful during play, vast agreement. Assets box is well placed and accessible.
they found
Random
the
2,
button.
but yeah. Intuitive. It's the same as the others. Why are you voting 2? And helpful during play. That one I could actually see a 2 on, but, you know. I'm just going to assume, given that it's identical to the prior votes, that it's the same guy. Find the context box to be well-placed and accessible, which most people are neutral because they never use it. Couple of people that do use it agree, and then someone votes a 2. Intuitive to use. Again, most people are voting 7 because they probably never use it, but other than that, all positive. And helpful during play. Basically, no one cares. No one cares.
That is... so
That's
many
a middle
3s! Yeah, here's a middle
That's a middle
finger.
finger.
They
No one
conspired to flip us the bird.
I know that there were a couple votes that were a 5 or a 1, but, like, let's be real, no one cares. Personal no box. Neutral to positive. Intuitive on personal notes. You know, neutral to positive. Helpful, neutral to positive. No one dislikes having a note box. Accessories would feel better over here. That and information on magic things like my vessel. Which, yeah, those are items. Someone, a certain someone, says to the modifications that they write in a lot of items. I like items. I wonder who that is. Another person says generally end up converting a bit of it to be for money, which okay,
That's what the assets is for.
yeah, but it doesn't say money. And notes need more space for those that actually take notes. Maybe something someone makes themselves. Okay. Redateur lower made the storyteller thing, but I don't know what is officially an asset or a contact a lot of times, although for wild traditions that mostly probably to do with the whole uncertainty of being a refugee thing. I don't know. Contacts are for people that you know. Assets are for what you own.
Yeah, assets is usually like money.
Money and, oh hey, I have like a deed to a property in X location. You know, stuff like that. Where, like, you own it, but it doesn't mean it's on your person. Checkbox for worn might help keep track of what... There is an A box under worn items for active.
I heard that
But okay.
mute.
Oh, I didn't. That was me. That was me just quickly slamming my fist into my desk, just looking over at the A.
I know, I heard that.
Any additional recommendation or feedbacks I give on the items and notes? A lot of times I don't know how much bulk various items are, and I'm not even sure how much bulk my character can carry. Having a simple way of determining bulk at various items without having to bother the ST with item measurement and math equations probably be a really good idea. I mean, we do have a bulk thing in the wings. However, it is still ask the ST what something's bulk is. That's how you figure out what the bulk is. You ask the ST. That's literally just how it works. When we have a discrete, well-developed item list, then we can have standardized bulk stuff already available for you. Until then, you're asking the ST. It's just how it works. Might help if there were character slots like in games, even if it doesn't always make sense for the character's body. It does say in the rules that it just works. Don't ask how the Snek is wearing Tims or whatever. That could probably be used to have some actual slots for worn items. Which, yeah, that's going back to an old debate, but
the snake's wearing Tims, and that's kind of amazing.
well, I meant the old argument about having discrete slots or just saying worn items and then letting people check it off so long as their storyteller approves.
Yeah.
Perhaps a brief description to distinguish the meaning between various boxes, namely assets and contacts. Multiple people getting confused over what assets and contact is unless it's the same person. It might be the same person. And time for the last tab, which is going to be one of the most positive things in existence, which is the type reference. I find the type table box to be well placed and accessible to use. Yes. Intuitive to use. Yes. Helpful during play. Yes. Type defenses box to be well placed and accessible to use. Yes. Intuitive to use. Yes. Helpful during play. Yes. I find it easy to tell what each type is good against offensively. Yes. Are there any boxes currently not on the type reference sheet that you think should be? This could be existing boxes or new ones.
Yes! What is yeah? What?
The reason that I did this entire section like that was for that one bit. I hope you understand.
Oh, you put that yes in there?
No. When I was reading through it, I was like looking through it. I just saw that someone put yes there. But everyone was voting super positively. And I'm like, oh, when I'm going through this, I know exactly what to do.
Yes.
Anyways,
what should be there?
Anyways, modifications that people make. First person, I clicked the checkboxes for the types my character is and the basic triangle differences and watched the wizardry of the sheet happen.
Wizardry is a very good term for that particular tab. Holy shit.
I could only make so much magic happen, but I'm very proud of that. It's very nice to use. Compared to people constantly getting fucking confused over what types interaction have with them. Another person says, ASI should be clarified at examination, not something that pops into mind immediately. I recommend using a note to create an expanding... You know about the notes, but you can't look to the right! What do you mean?
Somebody knows what notes are.
Someone knows what notes are, but they can't look to the right. I don't think the notes would help you.
For the record, everybody, right here, there's a key right here.
Do you think somebody has the sheet super zoomed in?
Potentially. They might. But considering how, like, standardized and, like, accessible the overall width of the sheet is, especially this tab, I cannot imagine how zoomed in they have to have their fucking stuff in order to not see the key there.
They're distracted by the color dots.
True. So true.
Hypnotism.
I mean, they wouldn't be the first person. think it was Taya that got distracted by them too.
We've laid a trap. It works.
Yep. Any additional recommendations or feedback you'd like to give on the type reference sheet? Someone says, I like it, I think it makes sense, but certain individuals forgetting the relationship to the basic triangle worries me. Which, like, okay, but that's what the checkboxes are for. They're right there. They don't even have to remember the relationship. They click the buttons once, and it stays like that. Someone says, the Scar type defense is one of my favorite things to play around with because you could easily change it back to your types after playing around to sort of see others' typings and to see your weaknesses and resistances easily. I guess that counts as feedback.
I don't think they do light pod, no.
No, but that's because there's nothing to automate with them.
Yeah,
it's literally
just
just
how
to
we
keep
grew
track
up.
of what types you have affinity and stab with. That's all they're there for. So, as you pick up affinities, like let's say you're fire light type and you pick up a mythic affinity, you can click the little A button on there and then go, okay, cool. When I check my affinities and my types, like I know what I have affinity and stab with. That's all it does. I guess I could make it do automated shit. I just don't know what to do with it, but I could.
I don't have no idea what you'd automate. Maybe the offensives, but
Maybe. But then again, that got a really good review of only 2 people voted it a 3, 2 people voted it a 4, and everyone else voted it a 5 for being able to easily tell what each type is good against offensively. So like
There's nothing for it to autofill from them, though, Lightpaw. That's you have stab on it. And that lowers the difficulty. It doesn't add in extra dice or anything, so we can't automate that.
I guess I could put in a little box for like in the ability slots to be like, oh, you have this type. Here's your stab effectiveness with it or something. I don't know.
you get stabbed with the following.
Yeah. Someone says, I don't know how to do it better, but it'd be nice if there was a way to be clear on what a type is good against. Why didn't you vote a 1 on that then?
Okay, so unfortunately, there is no way to do it better. If there was, Pokemon fans would have found it. Because literally the design of this is the exact same that Pokemon fans have been using for the type chart forever. So unfortunately, I had that feedback before. Nobody has any idea what to do otherwise.
The only thing I could do is put in a little auto calculator where it's not actually a calculator and it's just a drop down. And it just goes and tells you what the type is good against and bad against offensively when you select the type from a little drop down. That is all I can do for you. That is the extent, which like I guess I could do, but like that's it.
How to tell the devs are starting to get burnt out by this too.
Well, this is literally the end of it.
Yeah.
That was literally the last thing. Well, besides someone saying colorblind, but also
Also me.
yeah. I don't think we're not changing colors.
No.
So it's like noted, but
It's one of those things that you should keep in mind because colorblind people get forgotten a lot, and when we run across little teeny tiny things that make it easier on us, it's like a godsend.
that is fair.
Like the fact that I found a website recently where I was hovering over, they had the little color selectors and little boxes of the colors in there, and I hovered over it, and it just popped up and told me what color it was. Glorious.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
The only thing with like our thing is just that like they're already labeled,
Yep.
So it's like, I'm not sure what else to do is more the thing. Like, it's already labeled. They already have discrete symbols, so.
Nothing right now, but when we're done, the check boxes would be helpful if they had like something. But that's a minor thing because it's red on red, green on green, orange on orange.
Yeah.
That's why I have so much trouble with it.
That's fair.
But that's later, that's when it's finalized, then we can literally just don't kill me, Tal, but just add notes so that way when you hover over it, it just pops up and says green. Or check or something would be just so helpful.
I mean, okay. I figured that like the check and the X would be like visually differentiable, but if they're not under the same color, then yeah, I could just do that.
It takes an extra half second. They're visually identifiable, but it takes an extra half second, and there's certain types of color blindness where those marks will actually completely disappear for people.
What if we just turn them black? Like, leave the background the same color, but turn the symbols black.
Probably less visually appealing, but more clear.
I think that's plenty visually appealing.
Okay.
I think that looks fine.
We literally just changed it if you want to look.
Yeah.
It actually looks better like this, unironically.
Yeah, it kind of does.
All right. Cool.
I don't even know why we changed it from that originally. Oh, I think it's because when we ripped it, it already had the colors.
Yeah, when we originally did it, I was doing the colors with it and stuff, but yeah, this looks better.
But yeah, so that's the feedback. Most of it is pretty nice confirmation that we're on the right path with like 90% of the sheet, and there's like 10% of stuff that needs editing or fixing up and are unpopular. Couple things got pretty negatively voted, but also imagine what would have happened if like we put out this with like one of the earlier sheet versions.
Yeah.
So it's just like, gonna go through a redesign, gonna change where some stuff is laid out, move around some stuff onto different sheets to where they probably should have been in the first place with hindsight.
Insight is 2020.
Yep. But yeah, it is good to know that there is a lot of things that are overwhelmingly popular, and it's most of the extremely used stuff.
Yeah. But I guess this is where we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Though it is looking like we're still figuring out DAH. But for now,
I could use a short break today.
Thank you everybody for joining us so far on the stream today. That was a DevTales session. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. They're on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive and going. I cannot do this without your guys' help and your support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by sharing the stream around, grabbing packs of cards to stream loots, tipping to the channel directly, or going and letting us know what you think about our scar system. But for now, thank you so much for joining, everybody, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.